so for people who aren't in a band, would never have experienced this, but you're a brand new band, and you say, um, you finally line up, you're having a show, whether it be at the bar in New Brunswick, Bobby's backyard, or somebody's house. You say you're having a show, and then your mind just races, oh my God, literally everybody I know is going to be, maybe it's just me, but your mind races, everyone I know is going to be there. It's going to be like a sold out crowd. People are going to love my music. It's going to be great. And then you show up, and maybe 3 people are there. Does that go through your mind? Because it wasn't just the first time. It was like the first 6 times where it was so demoralizing for me.
Yeah, dude. It's okay. Definitely yes. And
okay, cool.
First of all, let me say that even still to this day, like both think like that happens where I'm like, everyone I know is going to be there. I'm so anxious. And then on the same, like with the same breath, I think no one is going to come to this. Absolutely no one is going to come. It's going to be the most embarrassing thing ever. My life is going to be ruined. Like those both thoughts at the same time. But it was especially demoralizing when we were playing at the bar because it was like 21 plus and we couldn't invite any of our friends. So it was like,
no, yeah, because we were all in high school. All of us were in high school.
And like while the shows were still fun, we were like my parents and my parents' friends are gonna come see my pop punk band. It was like, I think one of the biggest lessons I took from that is that like 21 plus venues are just, I'm sorry, it's just it frustrates me at a core fundamental level,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was with that band, and even with Shark Club, we'd experienced some bars would just be like, even if you're in the band, we're not gonna let you in. And I know your friends want to come, but they can't come either. And it's just like, just mark their hands. Like no one's gonna try any funny business. Like they just want to come and listen to the music.
They'll buy sodas and snacks. Like
yeah, but I mean, I totally get the liability on their end and why it makes me nervous. But it's so like we played in Shark Club. We drove an hour to Asbury Park to play at a bar. All of our friends came, and then a lot of them had to turn around and go home because they wouldn't let them in. They almost didn't let you in, David, and you were in the band.
Yeah, I that was so frustrating because I remember like it was Jess, Ahan showed up. And it was at this place that was like on the boardwalk, and like I was carrying my drums in, and the guy, like it was a security guard outside. He was like, "Wait, like who are you?" And I'm like, "Do you see the equipment that I'm carrying?" Like I'm carrying like not just like a bag that could be something. It's like I'm carrying a kick drum. Like I'm carrying a drum. What do you think I'm doing? Like, and it was just frustrating because like our friends had to wait outside on the boardwalk. They couldn't come in. I was so sad,
I remember we played that in our first band. We played that bar in New Brunswick for the first time. And my brother, who's your age, David, came with us to help load everything.
I remember
and
that.
the guy asked if he was in the band, and he said if he's not in the band, he needs to leave. Which he didn't even have his license. Like, where was he going to go? I was his ride.
Yeah.
And so we tried to BS and be like, he's the tambourine player, but they weren't having it. So I had to find someone who lived around there and see if he could just hang out there for a couple hours while we played the show, which sucked.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I didn't remember it until we were having this conversation. That sucked. But yeah, so when we were playing shows, like in my mind, it's fun for us as the musicians, but it's also a way to promote your music. And so when you're playing to a crowd of your parents and your parents' friends, they're not going to go back and check out your pop punk record on Bandcamp. Like it's a no-win situation.
Yeah. It feels so frustrating when it's not people your age,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that specific detail is so important when you're like starting out in a DIY scene. If it's like, if you're playing for like if you're in high school and you're playing for people who are like 25 even, it's like, this is weird. I want to be playing for like, people who like could be going to my high school. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
So it's always frustrating like that.